Before you do anything with this craft, you're probably going to want to watch the whole video just so you get all the details before you do anything.
Hello everybody, welcome here. I'm Tetris, and today for our very first activity of Turbo, we're going to be making paper circuits. The way that works is we take all the ingredients that we've provided, you're going to make a building of your own choosing, and then you're going to make the circuit, and it's going to light up the building. Let's get started. Alright, so let's start looking at what you got in the box. We got a couple pieces of plain white printer paper. You might want to put something heavy on that so it flattens out. And we got a couple pieces of different colored construction paper. These might be random colors, so you might have to just make do with what you get there. We also have circuitry tape. Now, you're only going to get a piece of this rather than the whole roll, but that's one of the main ingredients there. You're going to have a glue stick, and you're also going to get this little baggie that should have 2 batteries and 2 colored lights. The color you get just depends on which box you get, okay? You may also want to grab something like pens or pencils to draw with, and scissors will be super helpful as well.
First, what you're going to want to do is draw out a rough copy of the building you're going to make on a piece of scrap paper. I've chosen to make the big red barn that we have at camp. Next, on your rough copy, you're going to mark out the different colors of each part of your building so that they match the construction paper that we've given you. Now, on the rough copy, you're going to want to mark out where the circuit will be. So you're going to want to mark out where the batteries are, where the lights are going to be, and where your door that will open and close is going to be. In my example, I only used 1 battery, but you're going to be using 2. Now you're ready to draw a good copy of your building on the white piece of paper that we've provided. Take scissors and cut out the door on 2 short sides and 1 long side so it opens like a regular door. This will act as a switch that will close off your circuit. Flip over your good copy and draw the circuit outline on the back of it so it fits where your drawing is and so it matches with where your door and your windows are going to be.
Alright, so let's take a stop there and let's figure out how this circuitry works, because this is the complicated part of the craft and you're going to want to make sure you know what's going on before you do anything so you don't mess it up. If you want, you can get your parents or someone who's a little bit older and they can help you out with this, because this is the hardest part of the craft. So when you're making a circuit, which is using this tape here, the batteries, and the lights, you're going to want to make sure that the positive side of anything always connects to the negative side of something else. So both of these, the lights and the batteries, will have a positive and a negative side. The battery, see it says positive there? So this is the positive side. This is going to be the negative. With the lights, it's a little bit harder to figure out. I figured out that the short end here is positive and the long end is negative. But an easy way to check to make sure is to put it on either side of the battery like this. Since the positive side here is connecting to the negative side of the battery, it lights up. But if you did it the other way, it wouldn't work. So I've already marked out on my paper the positive and negative side of each piece. So if you're connecting it all, you'd go tape, tape, battery, tape, battery, all the way around, right? And it's all connecting everything. But you want to make sure that everything's connecting the right way. So if I were to do the lights, I'd bend it. And you want to make sure you're bending carefully because these may break if you bend too often. But you just bend it a little bit slightly to the right and slightly to the left, like so. You want to make sure that the positive and negative sides are connected to the right piece. So for this side, if we're saying we're going negative first, you want to make sure it goes underneath and it connects to the light on the other side there. And then the next piece, you'll go from positive, which is on top, underneath, like this. Now you want to make sure it goes end to end like that. And then for the next piece, since it's positive, you go back on top again, just like that. From there, you got to make sure that the negative piece here is bent out, and then the short piece, the positive, is bent going down. And then you'll go like that, and then you'll go all the way around back to this one. So then you should have positive to to the negative, to the positive, to the negative, positive to negative, positive to negative. If you do this right, you have all your wires covered right with the tape, and you have the tape going to the bottom, and then to the top, and then to the bottom, to the top kind of thing. It should all light up. So make sure you get there and it all lights up before you move on. All right, so when you're doing the tape, you want to make sure that you don't just pull the whole thing off because it might curl up and then stick to itself. So what I do is I peel it off just a little bit, and I stick it down where I want it, and I slowly peel this off as I push it down. That way, you have it covering what you need, but it doesn't stick to anything else.
Now it's time to actually put the whole circuit together. Make sure you follow the circuit explanation I've just given you closely because there's lots of little things that can be a little tricky. And if you need help, you can look at the instruction sheet we've given you and also get parents' help. Make sure to be careful with this because if you use up all the tape, you only have a limited amount. So don't stick anything until you're sure you have it all cut to the right size. Once you've completed the circuit, if the light isn't lighting up, try just adjusting the connections to the lights or to the batteries. It's a little bit finicky, so you may just need to play with it a little bit. Now you can cut the tape where that connects the two pieces of the door. Once you cut it there, it should be able to open and close again. To complete your circuit, you're going to need to put a little piece of copper tape that connects both sides of the door. The way we're going to do this is we're going to lay our second piece of paper on the back of our good copy so that it sandwiches the circuit between both pieces of paper. Before you glue it, you're going to want to mark where that little piece of copper tape should go so that it completes the circuit when you close the door. What I did is I laid it flat on the back, I folded it up, and I marked that spot. Then I put the piece of tape on it, and then you're ready to glue both pieces together. So before you glue it together, you want to probably test the circuit. So just flip it over so that the good copy is up and close the door. It should connect to that extra piece of tape that we put on, and then the light should turn on. Like I said before, you can test it by playing with the little lights on the sides and make sure that they all line up, because that could be one of the reasons it may not connect fully. And once you have the light on, you can go ahead and glue that back piece on so that it sandwiches the circuit together. All that's left to do is to cut out the construction paper and glue it onto the front of your building so that it looks really nice and pretty. And that's it. Hope you had fun.